I think we've got a quorum. Everybody's set. We can start the meeting. I'm going to call the meeting to order today, February 2nd, of the Long Beach, Indiana Tree Board. We have a quorum. Janice, would you kindly do the roll call?
I will. Dr. Annabelle Uhouse.
Present.
Jane Kroll.
Present.
Janice Brown.
Present.
Ellen Lynch.
Present.
And I am Janice Robertson, present.
All right. The next thing would be the approval of the minutes from last month. So is there any comment on that, or would someone like to make a motion to accept the minutes? Second it. If there's any discussion. Okay. All right. Okay. Any discussion? If not,
You're perfect, Janice.
Thank you.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
All right. Okay. Thank you, everyone. So the minutes are accepted. Old business. I put on there the tulip tree, but I think we should table that, Janice Brown, because I don't want to lose track of it, but we'll pick that up in March or so.
Hello?
Okay, so if it's okay with everyone, let's make a motion and we'll table the tulip tree. Anyone?
A motion to table it. Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
No one's opposed. Okay. What was the other thing on that agenda the tulip tree and, I know what it was. It was the permit. The permit. No, the permit was next. We talked about it last month. I don't know if we finalized it, but I think we'll come back to that if we need to. For now, we've got a working one. So I would say let's just table the tree permit and review it in March, if that's okay with everyone.
Yep. I make a motion that it be tabled and reviewed at the March meeting.
Okay. All right. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, okay. One more visitor. All right. Anyone opposed? No. So we've got that approved. And now what I want to say is we're going to go ahead and move on to the 1302 petition. And I'd like to remind everyone how this is going to work and how Robert's Rules of Orders and all that. We'll talk one at a time. One person will have the floor. If there's any questions or discussion at the end of that person's comment, we can go ahead, but first we'll let him finish. And once everyone has a chance to go, we go down the list here, and everybody has a chance to comment, then we will put a motion on the table to vote on it. So what I'd like to do is open up the meeting to a discussion of all the information we've gathered now on 1302 Lakeshore Drive, the cottonwood trees. Who would like to go first? Anyone? Who would like to go second?
I'll go first. Oh, Ellen, go ahead.
We're making a motion. We're voting on if she should have the permit or not have the permit. We went and looked at it. We had, what's his name? I'm sorry. I just rushed to
Christian
at it. And he told us what he thought. And I'm sure you've read the report. Everyone has read the report. And I think what we're doing now is just voting aye or nay, right?
Yeah, you're going to state your reasons or any questions you might have at this point, and then we'll go ahead and vote on it. It's a matter on the table. But we're not ready to vote until everybody can speak, because they may sway our minds.
Okay.
We might get new information.
Okay, so I've read it. I read it a couple times. I actually went back there a couple times and looked at it. I couldn't help but notice that next door to it, still in Long Beach, has been clear-cutted and down 10 feet from the street level for the new house. So I don't, I was amazed at that. But anyway.
Not yet. Out of order, Jane. You wait till she's done.
I don't understand what Ellen's saying.
Wait till Ellen is done, please.
Okay.
Ellen,
so first of all, I'm sorry. I'll stay on topic. So I went and I looked at all the trees, and I understand they're putting up a new house, and I understand that some of the trees are undesirable. They look like they're dying, and to make them look nice is going to be tough. So a lot of the trees in the front and that are on our property, I have no problem with them letting go. But the ones that we're talking about on the cottonwoods that are enormously tall and big, I hate to see them cut down. So I would have to vote against having them cut down.
Okay, we're not voting yet.
Clearing
Just,
everything else out, but you know,
Okay.
the main thing of the permit that they wanted for those huge trees on either end, I'm of the mind that we should save them. So,
all right.
all right.
Next person. We're just going to go and give our opinions. Then we'll come back and vote. Who is next? Who would like to be the second person?
I'll go next.
Mhm.
JR?
Janice, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Like Ellen, I read the Burke's petition, the suggestion from tree person, not certified, but a tree person, that the report he tendered to their contractor, it looked as if their contractor had made the initial contact. I was on site, and like Ellen, I drove by and visited again on at least 2 occasions. And I read Christian's report several times with great care, because I wanted to make sure I understood his reasoning and what he was suggesting. Additionally, I made reference to our own tree ordinance and what our obligations are. And from all of that, I did form a conclusion. I won't give you my vote yet, but I did form a conclusion, especially after I reacquainted myself with what the ordinance kind of requires us to do, not just in consideration of a resident's request, but what it requires us to do when there is ongoing construction. And like Ellen, I noted that it wasn't just the house next door, but it seemed to me for at least 10 houses as you go east after the 1302 property, they have been pretty much clear cut, predating our tenure as the tree board, but it becomes a tree desert as you move east after you leave the 1302 property. That's my comments.
Thank you, Janice. Who would like to go next? Jane Kroll, this is your turn to speak.
Thanks. Janice kind of clarified what Ellen said that I didn't understand. It's about trees. By clear cut, I take it trees were taken down in order for construction to be advanced.
Yes.
And we don't know if those trees were on the owner's property or on the town property?
Well, we have no way of knowing this. They're gone. There are no trees for at least the next 10 houses.
Okay, all right, and that's the clarification I needed. That I didn't understand what Ellen said. I have read Christian's report several times, and I have some questions about it. I've also read what I think Mr. Burke sent regarding his tree person. And I'd like to start by saying 3 things that we know about these trees that I think are facts. They're old. They're very old trees. The second fact is probably that they have experienced over the years considerable damage, which Christian kind of stipulates that damage has been cured, not completely, but but the tree has grown regardless of the damage, of the severe damage. And the other thing we know about these trees is that in all probability, they're going to be removed for the sewer project. Now, based on those 3 things, I think that's enough to qualify them to be removed. But we've gone forward and gotten the opinion from Christian, which I thought was interesting. because he stipulates that the trees should be allowed to continue to grow, but then he follows it with a couple of disclaimers of why his opinion might not be the correct opinion and that he might be wrong. But that be as it may. And then he stipulates a couple of other things, what the town of Long Beach should do in order to preserve these trees during construction. Then he goes on to say, if something happens to the trees during construction, that penalties should be levied, but I don't understand who the penalties should be levied against, because he thinks the general contractor or the owner of the property, but if the town of Long Beach is responsible for keeping these trees safe during construction, why would those two entities be fined or in any way responsible? And I also found it unusual that he would weigh in with what the penalty should be when he's not a member of the town council. So I found that his report disturbs me. And I think it comes with maybe a little bit of bias. And you could say that the report that the Burke tree person gave us also comes with some bias. So that you know, when you have conflicting reports, both of which come with bias, it makes it very hard to make a good decision, especially given the first three things that I said about the tree's age, the substantial damage to the trees, and the fact that they, in all probability, will have to be removed for the sewer project. So those are my comments.
Thank you, Jane. Janice Brown?
Janice Roberts has a question, and it likely pertains to something Jane said. So should we let Janice Roberts ask her question before I talk?
Janice, could you let Janice Roberts, would you kindly let Janice Brown speak? Or is it?
Absolutely. I just was raising my hand. I understood we could ask questions at the end of all of the comments.
Yeah, let's go through everybody's thought process and then.
Right.
Thank you. All right, so Janice Brown, go ahead.
I too have read all of the reports, including looking at tree ordinances and the history of trees, and also the benefits of trees to the environment as well as to the erosion factors along the lake. The biggest thing is we have also, the Park District has also weighed in on other cottonwood trees along the lakefront. And those trees stand and have not been cut down. And I'd like to see the consistency of the tree board along with the Park District and preserving the trees. They do a lot of help to the environment of stabilizing the sands and dunes along the lakefront, as well as soaking up, if you will, taking in gallons and gallons of water, hundreds of thousands of gallons of water, and that to me is very beneficial to both the homeowners from a resident standpoint of stabilizing their grounds, as well as to the stormwater utility.
Okay, thank you, Janice Brown. For my part, what I'd like to say is I've gone through the paperwork from the homeowners, our arborist who made a proposal. I've gone through Christians. I attended our last meeting where we had ample time to discuss it with the petitioners. I've weighed the benefits and risks, and it's my opinion that the benefits of leaving these two cottonwood stands, the one on the east and the three on the west, in place. And what I would say is that the homeowners also have trees in between those two cottonwoods, and those are foreseeably in the way of construction. And from the time we were out there with Christian, it appeared to us, the tree board, that a number of those trees, I think you said there were 3 pine trees that didn't look good, 2 others, hardwood trees, and that we would agree to let those be taken down, even though they're the ones that are stipulating, the ones that are on town property, to let them be removed so that the homeowners can have access to the property for construction work. So those trees would then be permitted, and then the town ordinance. Kelly, I see your hand up, dear. You will be able to talk at the end. There's a 3-minute public comment. So looking at the ordinance and listening to Christian explain it, yes, there has to be fencing around the cottonwoods to preserve the root structure. And that's what he was talking about when he said if those were violated, then there would be a responsibility for that damage, which may either short-term or long-term damage or kill the trees. But other than that, other than any tree has an inherent risk, he didn't see these trees as diseased or sick, and there's no mandate to bring them down for health reasons. So my conclusion is that the trees should stay, and the benefit of having trees and the water absorption and the whole impact of trees in a town are very, very important. So I'm ready to vote unless Janice Roberts, you have your hand up.
Yes, I do. And this was in response to Jane's. She stated that it was uncontested that the sewer would go through and they would most likely come down at the time of the sewer project. I did not ever see anything that said that unequivocally that the sewers would come through on the lake side of Lakeshore Drive. In fact, I was told by someone while we were out there that the sewers are meant to go on the upside of Lakeshore Drive, which is more than 10 feet away. And I believe it was Christian who said if the sewers were going on that side of the street, that those trees, there would be no reason to take down the cottonwoods on the lake side of Lakeshore Drive. And obviously the town has the same responsibilities under our tree ordinance to avoid damage to the roots of those trees. So unless Mrs. Kroll has some information that I don't have from whoever the committee is that is considering or proceeding with the sewer project, I came away with exactly the opposite conclusion, that the sewers would be, when they dug for them, would be at least 10 feet away because of the width of Lakeshore Drive, and unlikely to damage, let alone necessitate taking down those trees. So I'm open to somebody to correct my impression if Mrs. Kroll is correct.
I'd like to speak to that because
Just a minute, Jane. I'm sorry. I've got to turn the volume on, and then I have to acknowledge you. So Jane Kroll has the floor.
it seems Janice has some information that I'm not aware of. I thought the sewers were going to be put on both sides of Lakeshore Drive. The hillside of Lakeshore Drive would have a sewer that would, service the houses on the hillside, and the beach side of I don't know the directions up in Long Beach, northwest and southeast, but the other sewers would be for the lake owners. So when you say the sewers are going to be 10 feet away, I'm sorry, I'm not aware of any of that information. I thought the sewers were going to go down both sides of Lakeshore Drive. I think, and I did not say it was uncontested. I said in all probability, those trees might have to be removed because of the sewer project. Because there's going to be a lot of trees that have to be removed to accommodate the sewers and to accommodate the widening of Lakeshore Drive.
The sewers are going down the center of Lakeshore Drive, and the laterals will go out to each house, and they will make sure the laterals don't go through trees. Joy, I know you're,
That's all information that I am not privy to.
well, okay. Joy, is your hand? Ellen, okay.
Okay,
Go ahead.
I don't care. Jane is very correct. Already on the beach side, they're putting grinders in because the sewage will have to go up the hill and into the sewer. The sewer does go down the middle of the street. And so where that grinder is usually comes close to wherever the water service comes in. And so I'm sure that's all going to be thought of when they build the home. And the sewer does go right down the middle of the street. The only reason I know this, ladies, I'm a plumber's daughter. No sewers go in. So I'm telling you, that's how it's happening. So,
You know?
yeah, they will
All
have to get to both sides are going to have the sewers. In fact, the beach side has to have sewers. They don't have an option at all. It's the dry
They will
side.
hook up, they will hook up to these laterals.
Yeah,
Those are the,
right.
okay.
They've already mapped it out, and nobody knows until they start doing it. And the company who does it, you know, they come across stuff. You don't know what's under the ground. Everything could change, you know. So, you know, who knows? You know, who knows where the roots are, and you know, it's going to be different. Anyway.
And Janice Brown?
I wanted to point out that Joy was on the call and she has worked on the sewer project. I don't know if she has information that details any of the expertise that she lent to the project.
Joy had her hand up. I'm not sure she's still.
I'm here.
Are you
If
willing
I'm
to
allowed-
weigh in?
Am I allowed to weigh in?
Yes,
Just to clarify, I've been on the sewer project since the very beginning. There's going to be one sewer main that runs down, like you said, Dr. Uhas, that runs down the center of Lakeshore Drive. They'll try to stay in the center, but yes, depending on what they find under there, they might have to go either way. But there's no intention to, I've seen all the engineering, there's no intention to take down any trees. You know, it's only a 4-inch pipe lateral that comes from the sewer main to the property line. And the grinder pump should go about where their septic is now. So the grinder pump will all be on homeowner property, and they'll decide where they want to put it.
okay. Thank you, Joy. Appreciate your
Thank you.
expertise. All right. So we've heard from everyone. Would anyone like to proceed with a vote on this?
It's the next.
I'll make a motion that we vote.
Okay, so you have to make a motion what we're voting on. Are we, let's make a statement then. We are voting at this time to remove the trees as per the request of the homeowners. And I think that's fair because that's what we're here to evaluate. So is there a motion? Because then if we deny it, then it's the opposite. It's not removing the trees. Would anybody make a motion to remove the cottonwood trees that we've been discussing on the east and west side of 1302? Anyone? We need a motion on the table, kids.
You're telling me, I don't understand what you're asking us to do.
She's asking, I will make a motion that we consider the Burke's petition to remove the trees on their property, specifically the 3 large cottonwoods, east and west, on bordering, on the town property bordering their property.
And you want to make a motion to remove them?
That's, no, I want to make a motion that we vote on their petition to remove that.
Okay, so it would be to either aye or nay for their
Yes.
petition.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Ellen. All right. Any further discussion on this? If not, then let's take a vote. Jan, do you vote in favor of accepting the petition or not accepting the petition? I guess that's the
Right.
best way for me to rephrase it.
Yes. I vote to deny the petition.
All right. Jane Kroll?
I vote to accept the petition.
All right. Ellen Lynch?
I vote to deny it.
Janice Brown? Janice, you got to turn up. I can't hear you.
I vote to deny it.
Okay. And I vote to deny it as well. So it is passed. And the next step that happens is we do not have the final authority on this. So I will then present this to the town council as our advice. We're advisory. The town council will then decide if they accept our motion and our vote. So it goes from us, Jane, hold on, please. We're done here. It goes from us to the town council. So I want everybody to know that. Yes, Jane.
I totally understand that. This is my question. Why wasn't this same plan of our advising the town council used for Mrs. Ford when we voted? Why could we vote for Mrs. Ford to trim those trees without it and not just recommend it to the town council?
We did recommend it to the council.
No, we've told her no. We gave her permission to do it. We were the guys that granted the permission. We didn't say we had to take that to the town council.
Well, I think when you accept a petition, maybe it doesn't need to go to the town council. When we vote against a petition, it probably should.
Oh, okay. That I wanted that cleared.
Okay. So this part is done, and I've explained what the next step is. I will bring our vote and our recommendation to the town council. The recommendation will also include the language in Christian's consultation about fencing and protection, and that'll be hammered out before they get the written copy of our recommendation. Yes, Mrs. Cole.
I'd like some clarity in Christian's statement. He says the town of Long Beach should do the fencing and protecting. Is that correct?
Isn't that what he says?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you. That's what it says.
Yes.
All right. So next item on the agenda.
Do I
is-
not get to speak?
Just a minute, please. Okay, I was just in the middle of saying, and is that Mrs. Burke?
It is.
Okay, and I was about to say the next item on the agenda is public comment. Ma'am, you have 3 minutes for public comment. I will remind the board that public comments are not Q&A, they're not a discussion, but it is an opportunity for, and it's elective. We chose to do this. It is an opportunity for the community, a member of the community, to come and speak. So, Mrs. Burke, you've got 3 minutes. Please go ahead.
Thank you. So I guess my feedback or my comments are, one, I don't know who Christian is. We went, we listened to the other board when this was brought to them, and we were told that a level 2 or greater arborist would be giving a secondary recommendation on the tree. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt that this person is a level 2 arborist, but I don't have that confirmation or clarity, and I haven't seen any reports speaking one way or the other. So that's my first comment. My second comment is, we did hire somebody that we did not know to come and look at those trees, and he gave his personal opinion on what his thoughts were. You can say it was biased. That's fair, but we don't know this person. Christian appears to be biased. So that's my second comment. My third comment is, I'm assuming Christian is not a level 2 arborist, and you now have 2 arborists or one arborist and one potential arborist who are influencing the decision of this vote. You are all not arborists. So I'm very confused as to how we got to this place. So that's my third comment. It sounds like this is going to the council for a recommendation, which we will take part in as well. And then my final comment is, what is your intention to do with these trees moving forward? Are they going to get trimmed? Who's going to manage that? Because we came here with good intentions. We brought this to you with the overall scope of these trees could be dangerous. And that's our ultimate goal here. So I am baffled that this is where we are. I don't hear any intention for trimming it. I don't see a game plan for the trees. They haven't been touched in years. So please put that on the agenda for next time. I'm done. Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm muted. I don't have any new business, and so I need somebody to make a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn the meeting.
Okay, is there a second?
I second it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, thank you very much. This meeting is over.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Hmm.